Did you know that there's tech for home and field service businesses that can let you record and automatically transcribe your company's inbound calls, track your marketing campaign success, minimize your high intent sales calls that go to voicemail, transfer easily between your receptionist and field techs, all while maintaining the ownership of your phone number so you can control whether or not your techs take side jobs without your permission? All with a system that's incredibly easy to use, but most importantly, costs less than a cell phone line. If you need some of these capabilities for your own business, and if you don't know how these link to increasing your revenues, then this video is for you. Hey everyone, it's Joe and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to highlight the new call center solution I'm personally using and testing, and we'll go over some of the amazing features you might not even think is possible for a phone system that costs much less than a cell phone line. While we've covered the top business platforms available for service businesses in my other video that I'll link to over here, if you haven't seen it yet, only Thrive and ServiceTitan have integrated phone systems with it. But they're typically a lot more basic in functionality, so I'll highlight some of the advanced features of a standalone platform like this, and you can compare it to what you already have, or compare it to what Thrive or ServiceTitan can do. As always, regardless of my reviews in this video, there is absolutely no replacement to seeing or trying out the tech I talk about yourself, especially since they usually have a free trial. Technology evolves so quickly that many of the points we highlight in this video may change in the months after I posted it, so check them out in the links in the description below to see it in action for yourself. So with that, let's take a deep dive on how you can grow your business with a phone system. First of all, a call center solution is different from VoIP solutions, where VoIP, or voice over IP, is typically a broader term used to describe internet-based phone lines. When these first came out, they were absolutely horrible. The quality sucked, they cut out, and they weren't reliable. However, as cell phone and office data, as well as the vendors themselves, continued to improve, they're now on par or even better than many landline-based options. Common VoIP brands that are generally more standalone offerings are RingCentral, Grasshopper, Dialpad, and more. Even Microsoft had one that you'd probably heard of called Skype at one point, which was then rolled into a new platform called Teams. And of course, there are ones integrated into the platforms like Thrive and ServiceTitan. Now, if you're in the service business, your use case, if you have more than one person on your team, is usually something like this. Someone is taking the incoming calls from your website, referrals, or ads, and the worst scenario is that it's all funneled to a single person, and usually the business owner directly, and you run the risk of missing out on jobs, etc. As you grow, you might even have a person dedicated to doing intake, so an office admin or receptionist, and that person would also be in charge of coordinating anyone in the field who usually have their own cell phones, or you might have given them one. The challenge here is that none of these numbers are connected unless you pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for a landline PBX or SIP system, which is a legacy technology relying on you to host the capabilities of things like an IVR or routing system to different people in the business. The selling point is that people who have these systems are generally seen as more legitimate compared to someone running a business out of a single phone line. Of course, the more techs you have, the more these costs grow exponentially for traditional systems. However, technology has evolved where these systems are centralized and secured into a cloud system that you can manage directly on a computer or even from your smartphone. And it's even being used by large corporations or even in healthcare, so you know that the security and privacy is top notch. Your entire team can use their personal cell phones and simply install an app that has your business phone line that'll ring and operate separately from their phone number, just like a normal phone call would come in, but it will highlight that it's coming in from the business line. And this is where a solution like Aircall comes into play. When I first started using Aircall, I used it for my sales and service team for my own consulting business, and I absolutely found it phenomenal and pretty affordable considering what it did. They actually focus a lot more on larger companies and consulting firms, but given the functionality, I implemented it for some of my home service clients as well, and it was a perfect fit. So let me take you through exactly why that was by looking at exactly some of their specific features compared to what my service business clients were using before. The most important, I think, especially when it comes to delivering great customer service, minimizing liability, and coaching your existing staff, is call transcription and recording. You can set it up so that every call or just certain numbers are automatically recorded, and the system also provides a prompt, especially in states where you require disclosure that the call may be recorded for quality and training purposes, just like the big companies. This also allows you to record and listen back to your inbound calls to spot check if your front desk is answering calls the right way, or if the client said something different on the phone versus what the tech is hearing from them out in the field, or if your sales and service teams are actually upselling on their calls. Most importantly, instead of having to listen to hours of recordings, if you want to find certain trends in the calls you have, the recordings are automatically transcribed with AI, so you can actually search through keywords through all of your calls and see if people are mentioning service plans consistently or asking for reviews as examples. From a business management perspective, this gives you a missing tool that would normally cost thousands to implement, but is included in this solution. On a related note, the second feature is very similar. If you happen to have a high volume of calls, you may end up having to get some voicemails coming in, which you can still avoid as much as possible because of the next feature I'll talk about. But if you do get voicemails, instead of having to wait and listen through seconds or even minutes of a voicemail only to realize it's spam or completely irrelevant, your voicemails are automatically transcribed as well, so you can quickly read what a voicemail is before bothering committing the time to listen to it. This can be a huge time saver for businesses and also a data point if you need to hire more staff or route your phone a different way if you're missing high intent jobs and inquiries to voicemail. But you can also avoid all of that with the next feature, typically reserved for $100 or $1,000 systems in the past that also used to be a massive pain to edit and maintain. But before that, if you're enjoying the video so far, a like and subscribe would go a really long way, and also share the video to help other small businesses who might find this kind of technology useful, if not at least interesting for their businesses, especially with this next feature. Any company, whether you're a single or dual person business, to a team of more than 10 people, can all be connected through an IVR or interactive voice response. The systems large companies use to route your calls through. In addition to being able to get a toll-free number if you want, even a local number can be assigned an IVR prompt, the system that allows you to route a call based on specific situations that you can tailor based on how you want your business to run. For example, you can set up your initial voice recording to say, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, press 3 for the office or the owner, or however else you want, up to 10 different options. Each press can then route to a different phone number within your team, again, even to a personal cell phone line that doesn't end up disclosing personal numbers. But beyond that, you can also have rules that route the call in case someone is busy, for example, or on vacation or on another call. Because everyone is on the same system, you can route the call to go to the person most likely to answer the call so you don't miss those high intent callers looking to book a new job. As an example, if your receptionist is already on a call, instead of waiting for the line to ring and go to voicemail, you can set up the system to route to you or another office admin that might be available to take the call. The same feature you can also use based on your business hours. Maybe you only have emergency support available 24/7 and a receptionist available during the day. You can customize that, including the messaging you provide to whoever's calling in. And all of this I have only ever seen in solutions that cost a ridiculous amount of money from phone companies, not to mention those systems needing an engineer to actually configure or change for you, which you also have to pay for. With Aircall, it's literally a drag and drop interface on your computer from anywhere in the world. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Now, all that being said, this system can do things that those systems can't even do without a lot of workarounds, and that's transfer easily to another phone line. There's usually different ways to manage phone systems for your techs, but most commonly you either give them a company phone, which is expensive, or you give them a stipend for their existing phone, a bit cheaper. And in this case, you can save on both costs, but also increase the functionality that serves not just your techs, but also your customers and your business interests with integrated call transfers. In this case, your ideal setup is that you can get your techs to use their own smartphones and just have them download the Aircall app, and they'll now have access to their personal number and a separate business number that's still owned by your company that rings on the exact same device. This serves the tech so that they don't have to use their personal line to call clients or take calls or carry two phones, and serves you and the business because those numbers stay with the company that you can transfer over to another tech if you have turnover. But it gets even better. The most common and best use case is that, let's say your customers are waiting for your tech to come and they need to step outside for a bit or go in the backyard. Chances are that they'll call your main line first and talk to your receptionist or dispatch. Instead of playing a game of phone tag, since all of your phone lines are now connected together digitally, your dispatch, who could be doing her job fully remote in her home, can warm transfer or even do a three-way call directly to the tech to coordinate minimizing downtime and miscommunication. These capabilities weren't even available at a reasonable cost to small businesses until recently, especially the next one that many small businesses and customers are asking for, which is integrated text messaging. Business text messaging is a very rare feature in these systems, and fewer still have implemented them properly. But just like with the calling system, many interactions between staff members or between staff members and customers can be better resolved through text messages. And with a solution like Aircall, it does exactly that without relying on buying a completely separate cell phone line that costs a fortune. Your text or dispatch can easily text your clients that they're on their way or that they might be 5 minutes late, making sure that your customer experience stays top notch incredibly easily without a ton of cost. But the final feature is ultimately where the rubber meets the road when it comes to actual performance and understanding the health of the business. Unlike a traditional phone system where the reports you typically have is a massive list of phone numbers, in this case, you can actually see the effectiveness of different ways you're trying to generate new business or make your existing teams more efficient through tags, notations, and reporting. For example, if phone calls are a key part of your calls to action, one way to easily level up your lead generation data is to have a main number for your primary contact, but when you do an ad campaign through any media, you have the ability to use a different number that goes through the same place for virtually pennies. Through the reports, you can see how many leads or calls you're actually getting for a given campaign that you wouldn't otherwise ever know without asking every caller each time or through the use of track promotion codes. From a management perspective, you can build a process to track and tag your calls if it was a sales call, a complaint, a follow-up call, or just a question, and see what kind of calls you actually get and in what volume, so you know what to focus on improving in the business moving forward. Not only that, every user has the ability to also add notes to individual calls so that if they need to provide some context or feedback about how a particular call went, they can do that directly in the app as well. Depending on your business system, Aircall integrates with larger CRMs like HubSpot, so all of the notes, reports, and even recordings and transcriptions can automatically be synced to your system without having to crack the whip at your sales and support teams to update their CRMs. At the end of the day, Aircall is a very interesting solution that I think fits many home and field service businesses to a T. However, it's important that they generally say that their ideal clients are minimum 10 employees or phone numbers. But if you think their capabilities are a fit for your business, I only have 2 seats on their platform right now, give them a test drive and I'll have a link for a 7-day free trial in the description below to see if the capabilities are worth your while. I'll also have a live list of the best technologies I personally test and work with on my website, rehash.tech/home-services. Otherwise, hopefully this video helped you out and discover something that might solve some challenges for your business. And if it did, please hit that like button, and if you want to stay up to date with the latest business tech, hit that subscribe button as well. Not to mention, if you know any other business owners that aren't familiar with these technologies, sharing this video is the best way to help. Let me know in the comments below if you've given Aircall a shot and your personal review on it or other business phone systems you've tried, so it can help other businesses out and help me update my list of great business tech to cover in the future. And with that, I hope your business grows and becomes wildly successful, and hopefully technology will be one important way to fuel that growth. This is Joe signing out, and with that, I'll see you all in the next one.